All right, so today we're diving deep into Sowa Rigpa.
Mm,
You might know it as Tibetan medicine.
that's right.
It's a fascinating system, really. It's so much more than just like taking a pill when you don't feel well, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's very holistic.
Yeah, it's about weaving the physical, mental, and spiritual all together for, well, for complete well-being, really. And you know what we're going to do?
Hmm.
We're going to kind of look at how all that connects with this really cool concept called the Law of One.
Okay.
Familiar with that one?
A little bit. It's like a principle of interconnectedness.
Yeah, exactly. Unity and all that. And don't worry, even if you haven't heard of Sowa Rigpa or the Law of One, we'll break it all down, make it easy to understand. Promise.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Sowa Rigpa. Kind of, they don't just treat the symptoms. You know
Well,
what I mean? They look at the whole picture, the whole person.
like a detective almost.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Trying to find those clues,
Hmm.
like what's really at the root of the illness.
I like that. The detective analogy, it works. So walk me through it. What kind of clues would a Sowa Rigpa doctor be searching for? What would they be looking at?
Well, first, picture yourself walking into a Sowa Rigpa clinic. What would you see?
Okay.
You'd see like separate rooms,
Okay.
and separate beds for men and women.
Makes sense.
And then they'd have dedicated areas for, well, messier procedures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And even specific spots for this pretty intense detoxification therapy.
Oh, wow.
It's called Panchakarma or Lasna in Tibetan.
Panchakarma. Okay, hold on. Back up for a sec. Detoxification, huh?
Mm.
What does that even, like, what does that involve?
Okay, so Panchakarma is all about purifying the body,
Okay.
getting rid of all those toxins. They use all sorts of things like massage and herbal remedies, and even sometimes like controlled vomiting.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, but it's a really important part of Sowa Rigpa, a cornerstone, you could say.
I can imagine. Definitely not for the faint of heart. So, okay, back to the clinic. We've got separate rooms. We've got the detox areas. What else? What else would I notice? What kind of stands out?
Well, you definitely see all the tools of the trade. Things like medicine trolleys and needle cutters, oxygen cylinders even. It's a real blend of the ancient and the modern.
Interesting. So it's like this ancient system trying to figure out how it fits in a world that's so, dominated by modern medicine.
Exactly, trying to find its
It's
place.
like walking a tightrope between holding on to like centuries of tradition and trying to keep up with the times, right?
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. You have these like centuries-old practices
Hmm.
butting up against modern pharmaceuticals,
Yeah.
modern healthcare systems, and it creates a real challenge for Sowa Rigpa practitioners. How do you navigate that?
It's a big question, especially like nowadays when everyone wants a quick fix, like pop a pill and you're good to go.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Absolutely. There's a tension there, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And it plays out even in how they actually make the medicines.
Really?
Yeah, some practitioners are all about embracing those modern grinding machines
Oh, okay.
and pill making machines,
Yeah.
trying to speed things up. But then you have others who are like, nope, got to stick with tradition.
Interesting. So is it just like a being stuck in the past kind of thing?
Not really. It's deeper than that. You see, some practitioners believe that the practitioner's personal involvement, like their energy, their intention,
Oh,
it actually affects how potent the medicine is.
wow.
It's fascinating.
So
So,
it's not just about the ingredients themselves. It's about like the energy that goes into making them.
exactly.
Speaking of energy, there's this concept. I was reading about it and it kind of blew my mind. It's called Fabs June.
Oh, yeah.
It's this process where they like consecrate the ingredients,
Mm-hmm.
but they do it over years, like
Yeah.
literally years and years. And when they make a new batch of the medicine, they add a little bit from the previous batch.
Oh, interesting.
It's like, I don't know, like a sourdough starter or something.
Yeah. You keep a piece of the old to make the new.
Yeah, exactly. But here's not just about the flavor. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's about this unbroken chain of energy and knowledge that's been passed down through like generations of practitioners.
That's right. It's all about lineage. It's central to Sowa Rigpa, this idea of a direct connection
Wow.
to the source of the knowledge and make sure the essence of the medicine stays pure, stays intact.
So they really believe this actually gives the medicines like special properties.
Absolutely. And they even use this Fabs Kurgene for some of their most complex preparations. There's this one called Engulchu Rinchen Chutal. It's got gold in it
Wow.
and silver.
Huh.
and precious gems, all very carefully consecrated over time.
Gold and gems, that's wild. It sounds like straight out of a fantasy novel.
Yeah.
So we've got this amazing system, all about balance and energy, right?
Right.
His deep respect for tradition. But how does all that connect with the law of one?
That is where things get very, very interesting. So the law of one basically says that everything is connected.
Okay.
Like everything in the universe is part of this one giant web of energy.
I see, like kind of a cosmic tapestry, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. Every thread's like a part of creation, and we're all woven in together.
Woven in. That's a cool image. Okay, so I can see how that ties in with like Sowa Rigpa's focus on balance
Hmm.
and how the mind, the body, the spirit, they're all connected.
It's all one.
It's all one. But the law of one, it also talks about these like different densities of existence,
Right.
free will,
Yeah.
even choosing paths of like service to others or service to self. How does that stuff fit in with Tibetan medicine?
Well, you can think of densities as like different levels of consciousness almost,
Oh, okay.
or awareness.
So like climbing a ladder and each rung is a higher level of understanding.
Exactly. That's a great analogy. And the law of one says we're all on this ladder, moving up, evolving toward greater unity.
So are we saying that taking Tibetan medicine can like help you climb the ladder faster?
Not quite. It's not that simple.
Okay.
It's more about, well, both Sowa Rigpa and the law of one really stress personal growth,
Right.
evolution, striving for harmony, balance within yourself and with everything around you.
So it's like it's more about aligning yourself with these universal principles.
Yeah.
Whether you're like specifically taking herbs or not.
Exactly. And that's where the service piece comes in. The law of one says you have a choice to serve others or to serve yourself.
Okay.
And Sowa Rigpa, with all its emphasis on healing, on compassion, it really seems to lean towards service to others, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But isn't self-care important too? Like you can't help others if you're totally burnt out.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Self-care is crucial. It's not about like neglecting yourself. It's more about recognizing that true fulfillment. It comes from like connecting to something bigger, contributing to the well-being of others.
Like that saying, lose yourself in service to find yourself, something like that.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these ideas actually go together. It's pretty cool.
It is.
But let's go back to Sowa Rigpa for a minute. We were talking about how it's, trying to find its place in the modern world.
Yeah.
Is there a risk, do you think, that it could lose like its essence as it becomes more globalized, as more people start practicing it?
That's a valid concern. It's a real question. But remember, Sowa Rigpa, it's always been adaptable.
Right.
It's been around for centuries because it's been able to like evolve, integrate new knowledge. The challenge now, it's about sharing this wisdom with the world while still keeping those core principles strong.
So it's not about like having Sowa Rigpa clinics on every street corner.
No.
It's about finding ways to like blend its principles into the systems that are already out there.
That's it. Create a conversation. Build bridges between different approaches to healing. Like, for instance, there are Tibetan doctors in India, and they're adapting their traditional formulas so they work for their non-Tibetan patients. They're bridging that gap, honoring the ancient, but embracing the new, all at the same time.
It's like they're taking the best of both worlds, creating something even richer, more diverse. And this whole idea of bridging, of connecting, it fits with the law of one too, right?
Absolutely. Remember that tapestry image we talked about? Well, Sowa Rigpa going global, it's like adding new threads to the tapestry. The pattern gets more intricate, and the connections between different cultures, different healing traditions, they get stronger.
Okay, now I'm really starting to see the bigger picture. This isn't just about treating illnesses, is it? It's about changing, like, how we understand health and well-being for individuals, for the whole world even.
That's exactly it. You got it.
But how does the law of one actually, like, fit into all this? Where does it come in?
Let's go back to that idea of service to others. But this time, think about it in the context of, like, global health. What if Sowa Rigpa's expansion isn't just sharing knowledge? What if it's part of this bigger movement toward a more holistic way of doing healthcare? One that gets that we're all interdependent.
Whoa. That's a pretty powerful idea. Like, Sowa Rigpa isn't just a healing system. It's a force for positive change, for more compassion, more connection. This is giving me chills.
And that's the amazing thing about exploring these ideas together.
Yeah.
They illuminate each other. They really do. New layers of meaning start to emerge. But I think we need to pause here for a second. Let these ideas sink in a bit.
Yeah, we've covered a lot, haven't we? We've gone from Like ancient clinics to this cosmic tapestry.
Hmm.
From gold-infused medicines to like the core of service and free will, it's a lot to process. But stick around, because in part 3, we're going to bring it all back home. We'll see how these concepts can actually be applied to your everyday life. All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Sowa Rigpa and the Law of One. We've really gone on a journey
Yeah.
from those ancient Tibetan practices to this like mind-blowing idea of a cosmic web connecting everything. But now, let's get practical.
Right. Let's bring it down to earth.
How can we actually use all this in our daily lives? What does it mean for us, like right here, right now?
Well, let's start by remembering those three humors we talked about in Sowa Rigpa: wind, bile, and phlegm.
Oh, yeah?
They're not just like physical substances,
Right.
They're also energies, energies that are always moving within us.
Okay.
And when they're balanced, we feel good, we're in harmony.
Makes sense.
But when they're out of whack, well, that's when trouble starts.
It's like when your inbox is overflowing and you haven't slept in days, and you're living on coffee and leftover takeout. Definitely not balanced.
Exactly. And according to Sowa Rigpa, that imbalance, it can show up in all sorts of ways: headaches, digestive issues, anxiety, even insomnia. You name it.
Wow. Okay, so how do we get those humors back in balance? Is it all about like diet and lifestyle changes?
Yeah.
Or is there more to it?
It's definitely a combo of things.
Oh.
Sowa Rigpa practitioners, they might use herbal remedies,
Yeah.
massage, dietary adjustments, even spiritual practices. It really depends. But here's where the law of one fits in, I think.
How so?
Well, remember how we were talking about awareness,
Mhm.
making conscious choices?
Yeah, that whole free will thing,
Yep.
taking responsibility for our actions.
Exactly. So when we feel out of balance, it's not enough to just like passively take a pill or follow some diet plan someone gave us. We got to look deeper at our choices, our habits, our whole way of life. Ask ourselves, are we adding to the imbalance? Do our actions match our desire for well-being? It's a deeper process.
Yeah, it's like you can't solve a problem using the same thinking that created it, right?
Right.
You have to be willing to change at a deeper level.
Right. And it is challenging, for sure, but it's also really empowering.
I can see that.
Because it means we have the power to shape our own lives, create a reality that's more balanced, more in line with who we really are, more fulfilling.
So it's not just about treating symptoms. It's about changing how we relate to ourselves, to everything around us.
Exactly. And that transformation, it can look so many different ways. Maybe it's bringing mindfulness practices into your day. Maybe it's learning to be more grateful. Maybe it's just slowing down, paying attention to the present moment. Whatever it is, it's about becoming more aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, making choices that support your well-being on every level,
It's a journey, and we don't have to do it alone, right?
Absolutely.
We can lean on each other, on our communities. We can draw on the wisdom of traditions like Sowa Rigpa. They've been there before us.
Totally. Remember Fob Sturgeon?
Yeah, that unbroken chain of knowledge
Yeah.
passed down through generations.
Right. We can tap into that, not just through specific practices, but also by embracing those core principles of balance, interconnection, and compassion.
It's like we're all part of this giant experiment in like conscious evolution, always learning, adapting, trying to understand more, trying to become more unified. And maybe, just maybe, if we can bring these ancient principles into our modern lives, we can help to heal not just ourselves, but the whole world.
It's a beautiful vision. It really is. And it brings us right back to the law of one, to that idea of service to others. And it's not just about, these grand, heroic gestures. It's about the small things, the everyday choices, how we treat each other, how we take care of our bodies, our environment, how we contribute to our communities.
Yeah. It's about recognizing we're all in this together, that what we do has an impact, that even the tiniest act of kindness can ripple outward.
Absolutely. And maybe by living these principles, by really embracing them, we can create a world that's a little more harmonious, a little more compassionate, a little more in tune with that ancient wisdom, with the understanding that we're all connected.
That's a powerful thought to end on. And with that, I think we'll wrap up our deep dive into Sowa Rigpa and the Law of One. We hope this has sparked your curiosity, expanded your horizons a bit, maybe even inspired you to start your own journey, your own exploration.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring those connections, because it's all connected.